Hi friend, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting, and in today's video, I want to talk all about moving lights and DMX. What to look for a DMX moving light, how they connect into your system, and really just kind of give you a decent idea of what's out there, what the products are that are going to be good for and how they're going to work with your system, and then talk about some of the issues and some of the things that you really want to think about when adding DMX moving lights to your Christmas light display. Now, many of you guys know, if you don't know already, my background is working in stage lighting. That's what I do. I'm a stage lighting designer. I teach stage lighting as well as running Learn Christmas Lighting. And so to say that I've used more than a few moving heads would definitely be a true statement. Moving heads are very common, and I'm very used to using them in my role as a stage lighting designer. Okay, and so when it comes to the world of Christmas lights, I have a lot of familiarity there, and I think I have a unique perspective to really be able to show you what different moving heads can do and how they can be an asset to your show, or maybe just a waste of your money, right? Because ultimately, we want you to make smart purchasing decisions here. We want you to buy good stuff and avoid things that you don't need. So first and foremost, the first question I get before we start is, okay, what DMX moving heads are compatible with X lights? And the answer there is that I'm going to show a bunch of random different things here, and any light that has DMX is compatible with X lights. To take it a step back, basically, the protocols that we use to talk to our controllers, whether that be ArtNet or SACN or DDP or ZCPP, whatever, all of these can be converted at the controllers down to regular DMX. You may have seen, like, I've got a Falcon F48 right here. You can't see, it's out of the shot. I've got a Culp. Most of these controllers have a DMX output on them. Okay, it may be, in the case of the Falcons, it's usually an RJ45 jack, and you can buy an inexpensive adapter on Amazon to a DMX 3-pin or 5-pin, and then you can set that port up in X lights to output DMX. On the Culps, it varies. Some there's just open pins, other ones there's a terminal block that you can use to get DMX out. Okay, then you got to find a DMX light. Okay, and this is the bulk of this video. So what kind of DMX light do I need? A lot of people look across the world, look at DMX lights, and they first look at something like these. Like, I found this on the X Light Supports group. You'll see these here. You'll see these on Amazon as mini moving heads, like Lixada is a name brand. There's another one too that's U-King is a very popular brand. And these are inexpensive, under $100. They're cheaply made. And they kind of give you the look like these mini moving head ones with the different LEDs on the front. They're a wash light. So what this means is they're going to kind of give you a look like a DMX flood has. They're typically pretty narrow, so they make a pretty small circle of light. But you can use them to shine onto objects like your house, like trees, things in your yard, things like that. In fact, I had done a video a while ago critiquing some sequences, and I did one of David Peace. We'll link to it here. And there are many moving heads, probably a lot like these, in the front of his house, and from time to time they chase him around, and it does look really cool. But you're not going to get the punch, the impact, right? People say the Tom but George look, and I appreciate Tom, of course, in the work he does, of the moving head on the roof shooting its beam through the air. You're not going to get that with one of these, okay? If you shine this little guy up in the air, no, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see the beam, okay? And so while those are cute, they can shine a little bit of light on your house and move around. If you're looking for that beam look, you're just not going to get it there, okay? And there's really two reasons for that. The first is that it's just not bright enough. And the second is that there's no atmosphere in the air, and it's not sharp enough on the edge to pick up from just the humidity and whatever other particulates out there. Okay, so next, sometimes people look at other mini moving heads, but then we get into the beam lights, okay? And there are a few popular ones people look at. They may go to a pixel vendor, straight to AliExpress, straight to a factory, and find a 7R 230 watt beam type light, or maybe one of these waterproof 380 watt lights that comes up. Okay. And when you're going direct to AliExpress, there's a few things that you have to worry about and you really have to think about. Okay. The first is this thing waterproof, right? So the 7R lights, I think this one was listed, though it's no longer here, for around $400. But you've got to keep in mind, especially in 2021, that price that you're paying does not include shipping and it does not include tariffs. And tariffs on Chinese products in the US here in 2021 are at about 30%. So when that product comes in via DHL or however they may ship it, you are going to have to pay 30% on that fixture. Now, sometimes there's ways around it. Sometimes the factories will plain out lie, and they'll put a number, a value on it that's way low, and you may dodge some of that. This is technically fraudulent. Does it happen? Yes. Have manufacturers in other industries, shall I say, shipped me things before without giving away who it is? And, I get $1,000 product and they put the value on it as, like $50. Yeah. Is it good? No. Does it happen? Yeah. So you may get hit with a 30% tariff, you may not. If it's a large enough of an item to get noticed, it might hit customs and get a tariff. It depends on the total value, things like that. But you should assume when buying from AliExpress, because I see this in groups on Facebook, like the X-Lights group, like others, people they buy something like this or like this off AliExpress. They think that they're paying, $833 or $700 for a waterproof beam light. And then, DHL comes knocking, or they send a letter before they try to deliver, and they say, yeah, you owe 30% for tariffs, which is a third, right? So now you've taken a $700 light, right? And multiply that super quick. It's now a $900 light. Other issues with these fixtures, if you go to a place like AliExpress, is typically if you look on the groups and you see people posting, you see a lot of people having reliability issues with this stuff. Simply put, this is the cheapest stuff. It is being sold, to be cheap, and the quality of the products and the quality control and the components they're putting into it, it's just not there. Okay. So you say to yourself, okay, where do I jump to? Because ultimately when you buy something that's a cheaper quality item, you're not going to get the same brightness out of it as a nicer quality item, because the optics, the lamp, the reflectors, all these things contribute. And when you buy from a cheaper manufacturer, you get less output. It looks less good. The other thing you're going to find is you're going to have more failures. Pretty much anytime I see somebody buying some of these moving heads, they talk about either on day one, after a little bit of testing, or after their first year, they're having one or multiple fixtures that need new ballast, new belts, new motors. And these things should not need to be replaced that soon. That's just poor quality. Okay. A good, well-built moving head should give you at least a few years, if not more, of complete reliability. Okay. You shouldn't have problems like that. It just shows that you've got that you've got low quality. Also, you're going to find these use lamps, okay? And so that lamp is typically a 2,000-hour lamp. It may last that long, it may not if it's a cheap one. That is from when you initially turn the fixture on and it lamps on until you douse it at the end of the night. And so when that lamp runs out, you're buying another lamp. It may be $70, it may be $100, depending on which lamp. And maybe every year, every 2 years, you're buying brand new lamps for your fixtures, okay? So you probably caught on to the fact that I'm not a fan of the AliExpress special or going straight to China. Because if you don't vet your factory well and you're not using a factory that has a really long-term plan to it, that has a real long-term view and they build good stuff and you know it and they quality control it and someone's checking up on that. When you go to a factory that doesn't have all that stuff, you know, then you're going to have a problem. Okay. And that's why it's always good to go through a US like vendor. And so with US based vendors, of course, you're not paying those tariffs. You're getting a quality product, so it's brighter and more reliable. And, you know, you are generally going to be better off. And so one popular one, Tom but George Magical Light Shows here. He sells a unit for $6.99 with a dome for $5.99. Gets you to $13.99, I think. Let's just check that. Typo there. Yeah, $12.48. And the lamps are $70 to replace those. Okay, and he does recommend having on hand a certain number of spares as well, 10 to 20% backups, so you need to factor that in as well. You could go to something like an 80J Hydro Beam, okay? This is a waterproof moving head from the entertainment industry. I've used these, particularly the X2s, and it's a nice unit. It's a little brighter than we typically need for our type shows, but it will work. And so what's the whole point here? The point here is that, especially way more than pixels, you know, with pixels, you need to be worried about quality, but the cost of a decent quality versus a really cheap pixel is not massive. With moving heads, it is critically important to buy something of quality if you want any chance of it lasting. Not only that, if you buy something like these beams from Tom but George, great fixture, you do have to put it in a waterproof dome. And that's going to make it way more. It makes it bulkier. It's more things to carry up on your roof, etc. It works. And especially if you're in snow, you kind of have, if you have a lot of ice especially, you kind of have to put it in a dome. That can often be your only choice. So when it comes to moving heads, I would say pretty much every model has a pro and con to it. And there definitely isn't a one-size-fits-all light that's really geared towards Christmas lighting yet. But if you were thinking about moving heads, I hope this has helped you start to learn how moving heads work in your display. Next week, actually later this week, we will have a video. I believe it's later this week. We'll double check that here. Yeah, next week, guys, we're going to have a video on Thursday where I'm going to bring you a solution, actually, to this problem, to a lot of the problems that these moving heads have. And I hope you're looking forward to it. It's something I've been working on for quite a while, somewhat secretively. Just something to help people really make the best show in their lighting. And I'm excited to bring that to you next week. So be sure you subscribe. If you're new to Christmas lighting, grab my free guide to begin, and we will see you next week here on the channel. Thanks.